to sew along with you all on the brand spanking new K&A Sew Along, the Sadie guitar. This little cutie comes in at 15.5 inches tall and 11.5 inches wide, give or take about half an inch. She is fully customizable. I don't use any interfacing or stabilizer on mine. You can move the D-rings around. She is all yours, guys, but I'm going to walk you through what I do. It's such a fun bag, and I can't wait to sew along with you. For this sew along, you need 60 inches of webbing, one 1-inch slider, two 1-inch swivel hooks, two 1-inch D-rings, and one number 5 zipper. And then you also need 11.5 to 12-inch zipper tape. You need to have both of your D-ring connectors. Okay. You need to have your exterior side gusset and your interior side gusset lining. And then you need to have your exterior top gusset and your top gusset lining. You need to have both of your zipper gusset exteriors and your zipper gusset interiors. And then you need to have your back panel and your back panel lining, which will be a direct mirror. And then you need to have your front panel and your front panel's lining that's also a mirror. For this pattern, I will not be using any stabilizer, but you are welcome to use any kind of stabilizer you would like or feel comfortable with using. For the zipper attachment, you're going to put it on the longhorn side. That's going to be up towards your body. Where I like to place it, it's going to be about 4 inches up from the flat of your guitar bottom. So I'm going to make a mark there. Marks on the other panel as well, so we don't have a wibble wobble in our zipper panel. The next thing I am going to do is I am going to attach my lining to the panels here. So I'll have my back panel and my front panel. I'll go ahead and attach those on the sewing machine. So those will be ready to go. This one, and there's this one. I'm going to go ahead and get those clipped in place. Tape, and we're going to put it on both the edges and line those edges with the center. We're going to do that for both of our D-ring connectors. Alright, so we are going to start with our D-rings, and all I'm going to do is I am going to top stitch these at 1/4 inch all the way around, including the bottoms. I'm going to do this for both of them. Just like that. And we're going to do that for the other D-ring. Now what I didn't mention is that there was a couple ways you could start this. One, you could backstitch at the beginning and the end, or you can leave your threads long at the beginning and pull the threads through and knot them. This one I backstitched. This one I'm going to pull the threads through just because I've already left them long and it's too late to backstitch. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, so to finish up the D-ring step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and thread my D-rings on, and then I'm going to fold them in half, just like this. Now, to keep them fold over, I'm going to go ahead and use a clip. And then I'm going to baste the ends together using 1/8 of an inch stitch. And now we can set these to the side for right now because we are finished with them at the moment. Now, the next thing we can work on is our zipper panel. We have already double-sided taped the one exterior panel and one lining. So as of right now, all we have to do is just sew down with a 1/4 inch stitch all the way down one side, and then we will flip those panels, tuck them together, and top stitch. But I will show you to do that when we get there. So I'm going to go ahead, stick this under my needle. I'm going to back stitch here at the beginning and the end, and then I'm just going to sew. Pull the needle up. And would you look at that? I won bottom chicken. Alright, we just finished sewing. I'm going to go ahead and snip my strings. Okay, now I'm going to line up my centers. Going to use a clip. Got to line up my corners. Using our clip. Line up this corner. Use another clip. There's a couple more clips to pull this down. This is just going to help us top stitch. Alright, and then I'm going to sew down at 1/8 of an inch, just top stitching really nice and pretty. Alright, so that's the first one. Snip our strings here. Snip those strings. And then I'm going to take our double-sided tape and I'm going to prep the other side of the zipper tape. Lining up our centers and then matching the edges of the zipper tape. Okay, that looks nice. Same thing, sew down at 1/4 inch stitch, back stitch at the beginning and the end. After we do that, we are going to take and line up our centers, just like this. I'm going to borrow from this side. 1 inch as well. Alright, we got this all top stitched. Now I'm going to attach my zipper. So I'm going to attach my zipper. Now, when you're attaching your zipper, you want the zipper to zip away from you. So like this would be the top, this is the bottom. You're going to want your zipper to go that way, if that makes sense. So like I'm going to start down here at the bottom, and this is where I'm going to thread my zipper on. Alright, so after we get our zipper panel ready, we are going to take 1/8 of an inch and we are going to baste all the way around so it's nice and secure. Promise you, you're going to want to do this. It makes your life a little bit easier as we are attaching gussets and then we attach main panels. So I'm going to... Alright, with the zipper going away from you, okay, we are going to attach one D-ring. We're going to put it here at the bottom. Remember, the zipper is going away from you. Alright, we want the zipper away, and then we're going to take one D-ring and put it down here at the bottom with about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch overhang. And then we're going to baste it on. Alright. That should be good to go at the moment. Okay, so we'll see what we're at. We got a D-ring, zipper going away from us. All right, next step. Set that to the side. I am going to go ahead and baste our back panel and our linings together. Since that's such an easy part, get it out of our way. The other one, trim the strings up, and then go through, check your lining, trim off any overhang. And then we are going to go and get our gusset pieces. At this point, you're going to need your top gusset and your side gusset, both the top exterior and the lining pieces. All right, so here we are. You need your top gusset, which is going to be the smaller rectangle piece and its lining. And then you need your side gusset, which is the really long rectangle and its lining piece. And then you need the finished zipper panel. Well, mostly finished. Oh, I lied. We also need, to not shake the world, our last D-ring. But we'll set that to the side again. All right, from here, we are going to set our long one over here out of the way. We're going to put our top, do I want the font to go the same way? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to put my top gusset right here. So here's my zipper that's going away from me. I'm going to line up the exteriors here. And then the same thing here. I want my lettering to go the same way. I'm going to line those up, right sides together. And I'm going to pin those together or clip. I will be sewing this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, back stitching at the beginning and the end. Okay. Snip snips. Where's my snip snips? These big snip snips. Alright, now we're going to pull that all the way up, and we are going to match everything together because we're going to turn around and top stitch that seam. So what we're going to do is I'm going to match this up just for right now. And then I'm going to press this out all pretty. Right, and then I'm going to top stitch right along this seam we just made at 1/8 of an inch. All right, then I am going to, like we did our zipper panel where I sewed our panels down, I'm going to sew these two pieces together on the sides and on the end. Exact same way, 1/8 of an inch so it doesn't move. Now we need our D-ring. So I'm going to find the center of this real quick. Just like that. Okay. Find the center of the top gusset that you just attached. And then we're going to line up the center of this D-ring with that. Overhang it, you can do 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, and then we are going to baste that on. All right, let's see. Just like that. I think I might just roll you so you're out of the way. right, got that on. All right, now you need your side gusset and your side gusset lining. So we are going to make all our words go the same way, okay? So here's side gusset, all this. We want all the words to go the same way. So I'm going to line up right sides together because it's going to make one really big loop, okay? Remember, this is a really big curve. That's all it is a giant loop-de-loop-de-loop curve. So you need a really big loop-de-loop. And then I'm going to line up my interiors right side together. That looks good. And then you are going to stitch this at 1/4 of an inch. If I can stop moving you, you'll be in good shape. Oh yeah, make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. Also double check your hardware. I can't tell you how many times I have broken a needle trying to sew a D-ring. You don't want to sew a D-ring. Don't sew a D-ring. Trimming my threads. Alright, then I'm going to pull the exterior and the lining away. Moving those clips. Going to pull them as far away as I can. Again, to lay nice and pretty so I can go ahead and do this top stitch real quick. Lining them up. And then I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch, just like we've been doing. I'll show you as soon as I get across. Alright, pull this. Good. Okay, so as you can see, we are attached. Looks nice. Now, we are going to do the exact same thing to the other side. We're going to right sides together. With the exterior, and then right sides together with the lining. Essentially repeating exactly what we just did. Quarter inch back stitching at the beginning and the end. You're going to pull this nice and tight, and then you're going to, when I say nice and tight, I mean nice and tight. You want those lined up so that you can do that really nice top stitch. And then we're going to do 1/8 of an inch all the way across. Pull that out, trim my strings. Now at this point I would really recommend just going ahead like we did for the zipper and the top gusset, sew your side gusset. It's just going to make your life a lot easier, I promise you. So just go ahead and do it, get it done. Hi, baby doll.
I'll be what? I just want to go and run a video.
Alright. Here we go. Okay, giant loop. What we need to do now is go through and we need to snip about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. What happens is this is going to allow the gusset to kind of flex into those curves. If I was to try to attach this just as is, it's going to come off about 2 inches short. In some cases, and some of them we tried, it was about 2.5 inches. But if you do the 1/8 of an inch, every 1/8 of an inch, I'm not kidding, snip all the way around. It's going to take some time. It will fit perfectly. So let's go ahead and get that done. So as you can see, I am literally going to go across, and it's going to be like every 1/8 of an inch I'm going to make a snip. And then the snips are probably going to be about 1/4 of an inch at most. I would highly recommend not even going that deep, but if you do, it's all right. We'll just increase the seam allowance later. All right, now once you've gone through and you have snipped both sides of your gusset, and I mean you have gone through and you have snipped, because you're going to want to do that for both sides. Where's my camera? Camera, there it is. Both sides, you mean both sides. We are going to go ahead and start pinning, stapling, clipping, however you want to do it. The panels. Now what I like to do is I like to go ahead and clip first, and then I will snip, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I like to clip first and then staple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the marks that we made before we attached our panels, because I forgot to do that. I mean, I can always just make it again. All right, 4 inches up. And then an inch down. Small horn on the small horn inside. So I had you mark the wrong spot. Anyway, it's an inch inside the small horn. So, whoops. And then I'm going to mirror those really quickly. And the purpose of this is that when you are sewing something like this together, you don't want your zipper to get wibble wobble. You don't want it to go on cockeyed. So that's the whole idea here, is to prevent it from going cockeyed. So I am going to do the back panel first. I don't have any specific reason why. It's just I'm going to do the back panel first. Now, we are going to take all right. Now, what we are going to do is that mark that we made has to line up. That mark that we made has to line up with the bottom seam here. Okay? That is the most important. Of all the marks that we make, that right there is your most important. That'll help keep us on track. And then from there, you are literally just follow the curve all the way around. And that's what we're going to do. I guess I can do a couple more. We're going to do that all the way around. I will then take my clips off as I start stapling it because I like to staple. It keeps it easier for me. This pattern is rated a little bit is intermediate to advanced because of this curve. So as I go through, I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. So I'm just going to go around. I'm going to clip and then I'm going to staple. And when I staple this, I will only be stapling within 1/8 of an inch because the seam allowance does state about 1/4 of an inch. So I don't want to be sewing staples. So if you decide to use staples, which I highly recommend, try to keep them within the 1/8 of an inch area so that you don't end up sewing over them. So within that area, so it's not problematic. There's a new word for you. Problematic. All right, let's get this going. Now, as you can see, I'm coming around this curve here. Now, that's where I made my second mark. This is the small horn. This is my second seam, and as you can see, it's matching up. Now, remember, that was about 1 inch from the top of that horn, about 1 inch, and that is matching up beautifully with that second seam. Now, depending on how you decide to go through and clip this, you will see how it's already got that real nice guitar shape. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through at 1/4 inch stitch, and I'm going to take my time, back stitch at the beginning and the end, and I'm going to probably start right in this area where it's nice and straight, or straight-ish, and I'm going to sew all the way around. Now, with that said, when I get to the horns, I will be using an awl. I will be hand cranking the wheel because these horns are going to be the trickiest part of this. Just take your time, breathe. If you got to stop, make sure your needle's down, walk away, do that. So this is where we're at. This is where we're getting ready to go. It's looking pretty sharp already, so let's go put her together. All right, so we've got to make sure we are taking our time here. All right. Get this all out of y'all's faces. So I am going to start here on the zipper side. I'm going to be doing 1/4 inch stitch, back stitching at the beginning and the end. I have my awl in case I need it. As you can see, I will not have any clips, but that's because I stapled it. Clips will just get in my way, and I don't like things being in my way. So if you have clips, you'll have to probably go even slower, making sure that vinyl doesn't slip, because this vinyl does like to slide on itself. Another reason why I like to staple this. So just going to take my time going around at 1/4 inch. Now, I highly recommend just pushing it all down. It's not going to hurt you. Just go ahead and get started. All right, it looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video so you guys don't have to bear with this next painful part, because that's the next painful part, is taking the staples out, which is the only negative side of using staples. So instead of you having to bear with watching me take those staples out, I'm going to take them out and then I'll be right back, because the next thing we have to do is bind our back. Well, bind this side anyway. And then we do it again. So I will be right back. All right, we're going to bind our back. So I have this 1/2" double fold bias tape that I got off Amazon. There's about 55 yards. I paid about $10 for it, give or take. Maybe even 15. Once we have sewed our panel to our gusset, we are going to then make it pretty and bind it. So there's a couple different ways you can do it, whatever you are comfortable with doing as far as binding. What I like to do is I'm going to take my bias tape. I'm going to find a good spot, looks like the least obnoxious spot to do it. I'm going to fold it around the seam. All right, and then I am going to clip. And then I am just going to take it and let it ride all the way around the curves, pushing it down onto the seam. Make sure you can see me. As fabulous as I look today. It's been raining for like 5 days straight and my hair is a complete disaster. No desire to try to tame it with anything.
I forgot cooking. Kisses.
Alright, so if you've worked with this kind of binding, then you know what I'm about to do. I'm going to take the end here. I'm going to fold it in half on itself. And then I'm going to line it up with the other end. You can't really see that, but fold over itself. And then I'm going to line it up. I'm going to tuck its tail in so you don't see it. And then I'm going to clip it down. Alright, and with that, it's not lined up. Now I'm going to probably start somewhere in this area. I'm going to stitch all the way around, 1/4 inch stitch, back stitching at the beginning and the end, going slow, taking my time. I'm going to be hand cranking along the horns here, and then I'm going to come back around and finish up on this side. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so we are going to do that again on the other side, where we clip the panel here, and then we are going to clip or staple, whichever you prefer, sewing at 1/4 inch, and then we'll bind it just like we did. So super easy. I'm going to go back to the table and I'm going to go ahead and get this going again. Or I might just do it here. I'll do it here. Why not? Where's my other panel? Alright. Now remember how I said that the most important mark that you could make on your bag, right, is to match up to this seam. So I'm going to take my black mark that I made there and I'll match it up to that side seam. And that is going to be the most important mark that you make on this bag. I'll say it again. Most important mark, period. Got strings and all kinds of fun stuff mixed up over here. So this is going to be, so what I like to do is I will clip a little bit and then I'll staple and I'll clip a little bit and then I'll staple, just so I can, I don't know, keep some clips free, because it does end up taking quite a bit of clips to go all the way around this bag. And of course, you can flip your bag however you feel like it. I will tend, in the ones that I have made, I have flipped it. I don't know, I've done it upside down. I've done all kinds of crazy things trying to make this bag. I don't know what's going on out there in my living room, and at this point I really don't know if I want to know what's going on out there in my living room. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to clip and staple. So you don't have to sit and watch me do that. I'm going to pause the video and I will be right back. Alright, so I have everything stapled, and now I am going to go through and I'm going to sew at a 1/4 inch stitch all the way around, back stitching at the beginning and the end. I will be going slow and hand cranking at the horns. Excuse me. And I will be squishing the bag. So from here, I'm going to trim my threads. I'm going to pause the video because I'm going to remove all the staples again, and then I'll come back and we will bind this and finish it up. So see you in just a few. All right, so we have her all stitched up, and now I'm going to take that same binding and I'm going to put it all around the edge here, just like we did on the other side. So first one in, and then I'm just going to go all the way around doing the over on itself, line it up there on the edge. I'm going to have to go through and get those strings out, but we'll get it. And clip. We're almost done with this bag. Congratulations. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to top stitch at a 1/4 inch, securing our binding down. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. I'm going to clear some of my stuff off here. Move clips one way, move clips another way. Now I gotta move my phone. Squish the bag. And again, you're probably tired of hearing me say this. We are going to back stitch at the beginning and the end. All throughout. Alright, starting here, because this is driving me nuts. This side looks good. Checking the gusset. It's got a string. That looks good. Oh, here they are. Okay. Now checking the other side here. A couple strings. 1, 2, 3. Couple there. And then these long ones down here. so there's the other side we just finished. I kind of got a little wonky up here, but that's all right. You're not really going to see that. So when turning this bag, I really recommend heating it up using a blow dryer or something of that nature. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a heat gun. I'm going to heat it up and then I'm going to turn it. So let's go do that. So I've got her all turned out. She's still a little lumpy, just like me, a little lumpy, and that's okay. Just some tips and tricks as you're working through this bag. If for some reason that you find that your lining is a little short, because it can happen, there have been printing discrepancies before. You know, there are just some things that are outside everybody's control. Kim and Alex do a fantastic job trying to make sure that everything is perfect, but there are sometimes things get through, and that's just the nature of bag making. So there's our D-ring, there's our top. But some tips and tricks, if your lining comes, really, cat, sorry guys, if your lining comes in short, that's what I've been trying to say, you can, so I sewed this at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If it comes in short, you can increase that to a 3/8 inch, and that'll help cover up some shortening, especially if you see it and the binding's not going to help secure it down, or you're going to see it, just increase your seam allowance up to a 3/8 and you'll be fine. It'll shrink your bag down a little bit, but you'll be all right. You'll be fine. But so the way this bag will sit will be like this. So you have the longhorn up against your butt, like up towards you. And remember how I was so adamant about the zipper going up? That's why. So you can easily access your goods, and then you can just zip it right back up. All right, so we are now going to make the strap. Now there are a couple ways you can make your strap. If you have a set way that you like to make your strap, then please, by all means, make the strap the way you like to make it. I'm going to show you the way that I like to personally make the strap, which is going to include a couple extra tools that we didn't talk about earlier. So I'm going to have a hole punch. Now you could have one that is automatic like this, or you could have a hand hole punch. I've got my hole punch by Mormino. I'm going to have some rivets. I'm going to have my Cam Snaps rivet press. And then I'm also going to have a rivet marker. I've got my swivel clasp, my 1-inch slider, and my 60 inches of webbing. And then I'm also going to have 2 clips here to help hold things in place. And I'm also going to have my handy dandy lighter. Now the lighter is going to get used first. It's going to help singe these edges here, so it doesn't start fraying right off the bat. As you can see, when you cut the webbing, it starts to fray pretty quick. So I'm going to singe that and try to stop that from happening. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it straight through the slider, just like this. Now, some people are comfortable with sewing it just like this. Some people like to fold it over. And so I am going to fold it over once, all right, just like this. And I'm going to use a clip. This is where I use my first clip. And I'm going to use, oh, missed the tool. My bad, guys. I'm going to use a marking pen and my rivet press, and I'm going to put in 2 rivets. So I'm going to line the bottom up here on my, oh, maybe lay it down here. Alright, lay it here. I'm going to put in 2 rivets. Yep, right there. 1, 2. Alright, and then I'm just going to take my hole punch right here. And if that doesn't work, that's alright, because I don't feel like fighting it today. I'm going to use my... Now I could have my cam snap set up for it, but I have it set up for my rivets. Some people will also go ahead and singe those holes because that could possibly shred too. So I will push my rivets through. Now my everyday purse that I carry, I use a strap made just like this, and I've been carrying it for quite a while, and I carry everything in there. My daughter's no longer wearing diapers, but I had diapers, I had formula, I had all the things in there that you could imagine. So it's actually getting lighter now, but it was pretty heavy. So once I get those on, I'm going to take my other end of my webbing, I'm going to slide it through a hook, a swivel hook, and then I'm going to go up and over. The trick here is I've got the, I call it the ugly side, hidden under the webbing. So if you pull it super tight, you don't see that extra fold. It's hidden under it. But now this is also caught. We're going to go to the other side. We're going to stick our swivel hook on. I'm going to double fold this over. And I'm going to use a clip. Make sure we're nice and straight. Move my hole punch for a second. Oh, that's not going to work. Here we go. Get my rivet guide here. Going to do another 2 rivets. Line up the bottom. And I never want to hear my husband complain about me watching Christmas movies ever again, because he's watching them now. Alright, go to stick my rivets in, get my hole punch here and press. Go to the other side and press. Put my rivets in. Now this is actually a pretty quick method. As you can see, I'm not messing around. I'm gonna grab the, oh, there's one back. I'll grab another back here. Move my clip. Take it to the cam press. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, there is our strap. And while we are at it, we're going to grab our pretty little guitar bag that we just finished. And we're going to connect it to that. And connect it to that. So I want to thank you for taking this time to sew the Sadie sew along with me. And I hope that if you have any questions, you can always just comment below or reach me out on the K&A group site. I'm always available, stalking and lurking in the shadows. Have fun, and we'll talk soon.